Hello. Welcome to jasonnewland.com and Vinny with his strange sounds. So this is Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. It is Thursday, the 2nd of October 2025, and my desk is still squeaky. You'd think I'd do something about it, wouldn't you? But I mean to, but I just never do. I remember when I used to have a squeaky chair, and I'd always talk about it. I've got a squeaky chair. I need to fix it or something. But I never did. Until it fell apart. It's actually kind of weird. I was making a recording. I don't think it was... Yeah, it was a podcast. It wasn't a video. And I leant back, and the whole chair tipped up and trapped me against the wall, and I couldn't get out. I'm still there. I'm still waiting. So please, someone come and help me. I've been here for like 5 years. It's annoying. So yeah, that was weird. A similar thing happened with another reclining chair in a shop. I don't know what shop it was. It was in a shop anyway that sold chairs, reclining chairs, new ones. And I was testing one out, and it was electrical. So I was doing the, going backwards. But it went backwards too far. I don't know why it would need to go back that far. And then I was trying to make it go forwards again, and it wouldn't. I'm also still trapped there as well. It was a little bit embarrassing. I was like shouting for help. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not the first person to have done that. Just thinking of embarrassing things that's happened in my life. Oh, there was this an embarrassing time. I was in Harrogate. Weird that I remember that. I was in Harrogate, and what am I doing? Yeah, I was in Harrogate, and it was a computer course. That's it. It was a computer course I was on, and I was staying in this hotel, which it was a nice hotel. It was possibly the nicest hotel I've ever stayed in. It was very big, spacious, which I guess is another word for big, isn't it? Big hotel room. It is probably the nicest hotel room I've ever been in my whole life. I think there was even like a sofa and a settee and like a chair and stuff, as well as the double bed and a TV. And yeah, it was nice. It didn't help me learn computers, but yeah. So I was there for about, 4 or 5 days. And they had these doors that used to slam behind you. So basically all it was I'd finished my dinner, I went out to put the tray, because I wanted room service. I didn't want to sit in a restaurant on my own. It was free. I mean, I was getting food, part of being there. I didn't have to pay for the food. But I didn't want to sit in a big restaurant with loads of people on my own. I was 18 years old at the time. And I just didn't fancy it. So I had a food delivery. I think it was like burger and chips or something probably. And I put the tray, finished it, put the tray outside the door. In the hallway, you know, so the person could, because they said just leave it outside, so I wasn't sure what to do with the tray. I mean, hide it under the bed, but I guess not. Do I wash it up myself in the sink, the bathroom? Probably not. That's what the waiter said anyway. He said probably not. He said just leave it outside. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, it's fine. I said, would there be a trolley out there? He said, no. If you just leave it on the floor. I've got to bend down. He said, yeah, but have you got problems bending down? I said, no, I'm 18, I'm fine. He said, just because you're 18 doesn't mean that you automatically are able to have that flexibility or even physically able to. Just your age has nothing to do with it. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, some people have issues with their back. They're born with that sometimes. It's a little bit disrespectful for you just to think that I should assume that you're fine, completely able-bodied just because of your age. I said, wow, I didn't expect a lecture. He said, see, it's all part of the service. I said, you know, I'm not going to give you a tip. And he said, I figured that. I said, why? Well, I've just figured you had no money. So why do you think I don't have any money? He says, because your socks have holes in them, and you on the bed is just lots of 2 pences and 1 pences and 5 pences. I'm assuming that you pretty much don't have any money. I said, no, but hey, you can't assume that. I'm staying in a really nice hotel. He said, you haven't been in many hotels, have you? I said, well, no, I'm 18. I'm probably, I don't imagine many 18-year-olds have been in lots of hotels. I made some. And he said, well, why do you assume that? I said, oh, here we're going again. Why? I'm just assuming. We have to assume. Sometimes it makes life a little bit easier, because if you don't assume anything, what can you say? If we don't assume anything and we have no opinions, even if it's not based upon fact, what are we going to talk about? He said, well, the weather. We could talk about the weather. I said, yeah, I suppose could talk about the weather. I reckon it's going to be pretty cold tonight. He said, why? I said, well, it is, what is it, like February time? He said, why are you assuming it's going to be cold just because it's February? I said, it's always cold in February. He said, not always. Sometimes you have nice days. I was like, come on, what? Give me a break, man. Just like, what, you've got just to argue with everything I say. He said, yeah, I've been taking a debating class at college. Did you think I'll be any good? I said, yeah, well, I'm 18 and I'm all about debating. And we laughed. Anyway, I put the tray outside. So I had my dinner, put the tray outside on the floor, and the door closed behind me. So I just go to open the door, and it won't open. It's locked behind me. Big, heavy door. I mean, I suppose they're designed to do that. You could say, why didn't you just use your card? Because they had cards back then. I think it just kind of went into the top or something. I didn't have the card on me. It was inside the room. And then you might argue, well, especially if you're the waiter. Is it waiter who delivers room service, or is it like room servicer? I don't know. Anyway, he'd probably argue this case, but it was a bit of a problem. You may say, why? Just go down to reception. I didn't want to go down to the reception because I was embarrassed. Or you're embarrassed because you locked yourself out of the room. Well, partly. What else? Well, I was embarrassed because I locked myself out of the room, but also because I only had my underpants and socks on, and a vest. True story. And I didn't know what to do. I genuinely did not know what to do. I was no way in the world I was going to walk down the stairs or get in a lift and go to the reception. And the reception was literally opposite the restaurant. I'd have had an audience, and it's not the kind of audience I wanted. It's a true story, by the way. I know I like to make stuff up, but this really happened. Oh, man. So I'm standing there outside the door of my hotel room in my underpants, my holy socks, and a vest. Those were the days when vests were very popular. I'm not sure if they were, but that's what I was wearing. But I was just chilling out. I was relaxing because I'd had a day of looking at a computer screen, not understanding a single thing that was being explained to me. And I really didn't know what to do. And I needed the toilet. I didn't need the toilet before, but once I realised I couldn't go to the toilet, I needed the toilet. And I was thinking, what am I going to do? I was looking around for a flower pot. And then I thought, well, I decided I had to go. If you have to go, you have to go. Just as I was opening the window, well, the window was already open up, I kind of opened it up, and I was standing there, and I heard a voice. They hadn't seen me. It wasn't like, what are you doing? Urinating out the window. And nothing like that. What are you doing pooing out the window? What? No, nothing like that. I just heard someone talking, so I kind of looked round, and it was, I think it was someone else doing room service, or it might have been another customer, but I think it was someone else doing room service. And I just said, excuse me, please help me. And I said, look, I've locked myself out of my room. Is there any way you can, I mean, you know, I can't go down to the reception like this. Is there any way you can let me in? And she said, well, I can't let you in now, but I can go and get what do they call them? A key, skeleton key, or whatever that lets everyone in. You can use them for all the doors. I mean, she said that to me after she stopped laughing, after she got off the floor, because she started to find something funny about this situation. I'm not saying it's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened, but it's probably up there. And the weird thing about it, I think it was so embarrassing that I put it out of my mind. Genuinely. I don't acknowledge it ever happened. Another thing, embarrassing thing. What embarrassing? Oh, I remember I was in a cafe. This is when I was working in the meter factory. Again, I was probably about 18 at the time. And I went round the corner to a cafe during my lunch break. And I went there to buy an egg sandwich. It was a small cafe. You go in, there was 2 tables on either side of the room where people were sitting eating. And then there was a little queue to the counter. I actually ended up living above that place like a couple of years later. Mind you, where didn't I live? Moved so many times. So, but I'm in there. There's a couple of people ahead of me. There's a couple of people behind me. At least there was until before I farted. And then there was no one behind me. No, I swear it was a silent one. I really controlled it. I was focusing on damage control, really trying to kind of ease it out gently. Almost, I don't know, I suppose, if you've got a car and you've got people parked in front of you and behind you so close, and you've got to be really careful to actually manoeuvre your way out of that parking spot. It was a little bit like that, except I don't drive, so I've got no idea what that's like. I have been in a car. It's not like I've never been in a car. I have been in a car. I have. It's true. Why would I lie about something like that? I actually have been in a car. It was all right. I mean, they are handy, actually. Cars are quite useful. It's hard to kind of really be too negative about them. I know that they've got their issues, but they are helpful, I do believe. Anyway, I let this... I thought it was safe. I thought it was non-toxic and genuinely. And then the smell hit, and then it hit everyone. Now nobody was particularly looking at me, but I think I gave it away, my guilt. I mean, go around apologising to everyone probably didn't help. I mean, yeah, that gave it away a bit, didn't it? The thing is, I learned from that time, because it's very embarrassing. If you're going to do a silent one and you're in a public place where people are eating, I mean, that is grim. I did not mean it. I didn't mean to do it. But I had to go, and there was a queue in front of me and behind me, and I'd been waiting for about 15 minutes already, and I only had 45 minutes for a lunch break, so I didn't really want to lose that time just to go outside and air myself out, as it were. So I kind of had no choice but to let it out, but to release it, to release the dragon. Now, my advice, because I try to learn from what's gone before, if I can. I'm not always successful, but at least I give it a go, you know what I mean? At least I try. And what I learned is, if you're going to do that, especially if you're in a situation where people are eating and stuff, then you have to act naturally. And when the gas is released, whatever you do, because you can't let anyone know what's going on. You can't let anyone know it's you. So don't apologise afterwards. And when it's actually happening, don't pull your trousers down and bend over. That's not a good thing. It's, it's things we learn in time, isn't it? It's part of becoming, I don't know, an adult, maybe, I don't know. I'm not quite sure how much of an adult I am, but mentally not so much. But you know what? Yeah, so that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. Just trying to think. What other embarrassing moments have I had? What other embarrassing moments have me had? Also, I want to say thank you to Julia for your PayPal gift. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I have sent you an email. An email. Email. What other things have I done that were embarrassing? I mean, that like proper... I mean, there was the violin recital I did when I was a kid. It wasn't that it was embarrassing, it's just that I was awful. Because I didn't know what I was doing and I was trying to copy the person next to me. Now, if you're going to... I think it goes with anything. If you're going to copy the person next to you, make sure the person next to you is doing... but knows what they're doing. So if you're going to play the violin and you want to copy the person next to you, another thing is make sure the person next to you is also playing the violin, not the drums. It got confusing. But that's absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? I can't believe I just said that. That is probably one of the most absurd things I've said in a long while. And I said some absurd things regularly for 50... How many years have I been talking? How many years have I been coming out with absolute nonsense? Probably quite a few years. Absolute ridiculousness. What I've done today, though, is I have started a Podbean podcast. I kind of come to the idea or the conclusion that maybe a way to reach a wider audience is to actually pay to be on the different podcasts. So on Podbean, I get hardly any listeners on my podcast that's on Podbean, which is shared from Spreaker or, you know, from Apple or whatever. But by having an actual podcast directly with them, it should technically make it more viable to be listened to be taken seriously by Podbean and the Podbean audience. Because I've got Spreaker, I've got the audience there, I've got SoundCloud, got the audience there. So maybe that's what I'll do. Because most of the audience come from Apple podcasts. However, I'm starting to think maybe if I put my podcast, if I pay to have a podcast with them. So this is costing me $15 a month, I think. I've been with them before. I actually was with them and I've just deleted all the old stuff because it won't connect with the new stuff, and also it's all muddled up, and so I've got rid of that stuff and I've started from scratch with this one, so I'm just going to start from now, or from today, like this morning. So I'm not going to put any backdated stuff on, just the newest recordings as we go along, and there'll end up being hundreds on there anyway over the coming months. And I got, the SoundCloud one, so I might look at other options as well to see what I can do. just might be an easier way to do it, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I mean, it's got distribution. Apparently, already distributed to Spotify and various different places, but I'm just going to leave it as it is and have it as a... Oh, look. It's actually Podbean's got its own website. That's fine. That's groovy. That's good. So, yeah, that'll be fine. What I'll do is I'll hold on to that. Podbean. No! Podbean. I'll click in and I'll save that on my saved stuff so that I can... That's it, good. I'll come out of that now. So as far as the stats go, we'll see. It says here, congratulations on publishing 600 episodes. It doesn't say anything about congratulations on deleting 600 episodes, which is what I just done. I just want it to be what's on here. What is this? First week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, there is 6. 2, 4, 6. It would be interesting to see, and I'll just leave it as it is. I'll just do it, have it running for a few months, and see if I get any organic traffic via the Podbean app. And then on my website, I've joined with Google, the Google statistics thing, because I want to be able to sort of see, just roughly if anyone's visiting the website, So I'm just having a look. Where would it be? Hot rota, contact, about, home, design, account, no, help, no. That's very strange. Why is it not showing statistics? Grow? Is it grow? Welcome to... Join a weekly webinar. No. Well, maybe in the future. Okay. Track analytics. Get started. I already did it. Why is it being deleted? That's annoying. I actually got started and I saved it. So now it's deleted it. There's no reason for that. It's deleted it for no reason. Why? That's very strange. Mind you, for Google, if I go into Google Analytics. So I've got a few things with Google. Google Analytics. Let's have a look if it's anything showing, because maybe it's... Alright, nothing. So reports, real-time overview, nothing. So I've got no one visited because it's not connected. Why is it not connected though? It doesn't make sense to me. Oh well. For some reason, I'm not complaining, but for some reason, SoundCloud has really taken a big hike with the statistics. And I'm getting way more plays on SoundCloud than I had done previously. In fact, I'm getting kind of the same amount nearly on each SoundCloud like each SoundCloud podcast, as I am on all my Spreaker podcasts combined. On each one. So, well, okay, nearly. It's kind of like yesterday I got 1,034 plays or downloads on Spreaker. Alright, that's not a good example actually. I got 347 on Let Me Bore You to Sleep. But if we click into the other one, blimey, the stats have really taken a big hike today. Wow. Yesterday I got 402 on the, what is it called? Hypnosis-style deeply. But today I've got, on the other one I've got about 800. On Let Me Bore You to Sleep I've got about 800 plays so far today. And on this one, the sleep hypnosis one on SoundCloud, I've got 746 so far. It's not even 7 o'clock yet. And on Spreaker so far I've got 550. It's weird, isn't it? How things kind of move around. Maybe it was the problems with Apple Podcasts last week, and some people found me on SoundCloud and realised that was still working fine. Although Apple Podcasts is now working fine as well. I'm just trying to think what podcast hosts so Buzzsprout, so that's another one which I will be looking at. The thing is with some of these, so Podbean, unlimited audio, unlimited video, or unlimited audio anyway, at least. I don't do video. But there's a limit. It's unlimited, but there is a limit, because if you do too much, they cut you off till the end of the month. That's why I'm only going to, instead of trying to put the backdated stuff up, even to connect between April, because I had it up to April, until now, it's still too many recordings, and they're just like, stop me. So that's why I've only put on the 6 recordings from this morning. With Buzzsprout, it's of no use to me. It's really $19 a month for 4 hours. 15 hours is $39 a month. This is how many hours I can upload, how many hours of audio I can upload. Upload 35 hours a month. This is a month, £79 a month. So it's not really, it just doesn't work. It's financially, it's impossible. I mean, even 15 hours a month, I do 2 recordings a day, let's say an hour each. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I do over 15 hours each week, probably way more than that, just for the initial recording. and paying $39. Yeah, so that's kind of a no-no straight away. I don't understand many things, but why are they charging so much with such a limit on it? Do you see what I mean? It's like, why? I think it's probably really good for people that are maybe starting out and they're doing one podcast a week, which lasts for half an hour or, 40 minutes or whatever. So they can do a whole month's podcast for $19, and it would suit that person. And I've been on Buzzsprout. I tested it before. I think I got on it before I realised the limitations. I used it many years ago. And then I suppose, if you start increasing and you do 2 shows a week, then maybe 3 shows a week, I suppose it could work out okay. 15 hours, 3, 6, 9, 12. So yeah, even 4 times a week. So what's that? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16. So if it's like 40 minutes each, you could do four podcasts a week. So I understand, like, in that situation, it would work. It's $39 a month. It could work. But I don't do short podcasts. Maybe I should. Maybe I should start doing really short ones, like 10-minute podcasts. What do you think? It'd be like, hello, welcome to Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Now close your eyes. Now I'm going to tell you. It's be going on, like really, really talking quickly. Which I know would really appeal to some people. Some people would enjoy listening to me talking with bass music blaring out. Everyone's got their own kind of preference to what they like. I can't think of a lesser way to fall asleep than to be sitting there listening to me with like really loud music playing. I don't think it would work personally, but some people would like it, and some people would prefer that I talk faster. I actually had someone on YouTube moan. They just basically said too slow. I don't know if they were talking about my speech or my walking. I'm hoping it wasn't my walking. I don't like the idea that people are stuck in trees watching me through binoculars, holding a laptop and typing in stuff into YouTube. They can do it on their phone now, can't they? Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's funny with a laptop. So yeah, I won't be using Buzzsprout, although I suppose, 15 hours a month, it just doesn't work. There's no way, is there? There's just no way of making it work. It's a shame, because I think they're a good podcasting company. $79 for 35 hours a month. When you consider I upload probably 60 hours worth of recordings per day, per podcast. So on Spreaker, today I uploaded 180 hours for the Whisper one. Because I put it on the Let Me Bore You to Sleep, Sleep Hypnosis, whatever, and the main one, and then the Whisper one. So that's 30, no, it's not 180, is it? So that's 30, 60, 90, 90 hours. Still a hell of a lot. 90 hours. And then when you consider I've got these ones as well, that's another 90 hours. So it's going to be 180 hours per day on Spreaker. It's a heck of a lot. I'm glad they allow me to do it, to be honest. If I uploaded 180 hours a day, 180 hours a day, times that by 30, so what would that be? 180. Let's say 60. Let's say 120. If I do 2 records, so let's say 60, 120. So let's say 120. Let's be a bit more gentle. Times by that's 30. It is. It's a lot. So 160 times by 365, 120 equals 43,800 hours. And based upon the price of 35 hours at $79, let's say it was 100 hours at $79. How much would that be? 100 hours, 43,000. So that's 438. Wow, I can't even work it out. It's too high a number. Huge amount, 79 for 35 hours. Maybe you can work it out in your head. I can't. I'm not even going to bother. So that's Buzzsprout is out. It says it's the #1 place to host a podcast, with over 200,000 podcasts launched. I just like to. It'd be nice. Wow. Podbean. It's saying here, these are the top earners in podcasts in the world. The highest earning podcast is based on their revenue. Joe Rogan's #1 with reported annual income of $30 million. So he's like the most famous podcaster, really. Ramit Sethi, never heard of him. Ramit Sethi, I Will Teach You to Be Rich podcast has earned him $25 million, combining financial advice with practical psychology to drive course sales and brand expansion. And then you got Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. These hosts of My Favourite Murder podcasts have each earned $15 million, blending true crime with comedy to create a dedicated community. These podcasts exemplify the potential for high earnings in the podcasting industry, driven by smart advertising, strategic affiliate sales, and exclusive content deals. Look at the 100 most popular, 100 most biggest earners. How do they earn that much money, though? It says here, why would anyone start a podcast? This is press.farm.com. There are many reasons why people are motivated to start a podcast. For example, you may want to express a personal passion, increase professional visibility, connect with a social network of influencers or thought leaders, nurture groups of like-minded individuals, or educate people. That's a very long sentence. Interestingly enough, due to the affordability of running a podcast and the effectiveness of this entertainment format, podcasting is classified as a disruptive medium. Well, apparently Mel Robbins is now the top podcast according to this. Is it Tony Robbins' wife? I don't know. The Joe Rogan Experience second, the Brett Cooper Show. Okay, I don't really know about her. This past weekend with Theo Von, I've heard of him on YouTube. Candace. Okay, Ray William Johnson, True Story Podcast. Do you know one of the things? You can't get the stats for podcasts. You can't. It's not really available. You can get stats for YouTube videos, or at least estimates. But with podcasts, they don't have that facility. Alexandra Cooper and Sophia Franklin launched Call Her Daddy, a comedy and advice podcast. I'm not seeing that. The Telepathy Tapes. Okay. So there's a few. The Tucker Carlson Show. The Ultimate Human with Gary Brecker. Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. I watch him on YouTube. Estimated net worth 80 to 90 million. Blimey. But he does lots of different things. The Ezra, he's on the Dragon's Den, which is like, some might know it as being like Shark Tank, I think. The Ezra Klein Show, answering relevant questions about everything from politics to business. Rotten Mango. Wow. Some of these images are really good though, but they're mainly pictures of the people. And maybe that's where I'm going wrong, because I don't have pictures of myself, but I don't think that would help. If I went to every single promotional company, PR company, internet-based search engine company, whatever, all the best ones in the entire world, I don't think one of them would suggest, why don't you change your logo, your podcast logo, and have a picture of you on it? I don't think anyone's going to suggest that. Really. Oh, there's another one, Rotten Mango, True Crime Podcast. I do get why they're popular. I do. It's not my thing, but I understand. They can be gripping. The Severance Podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott. Really? Okay. Is that a regular thing, or is it... That's on Audacity. Or Odyssey. Odyssey. Okay. I mean, that would be a super professional setup, wouldn't it? The weekly show with Jon Stewart. Chloe in Wonderland. So that's Khloe Kardashian. She has conversations with people. Crime Junkie, so that's another one. Pod Save America is, okay, it's a political one. The Megyn Kelly Show, it's another political one. Huberman Lab, he talks about health and stuff. Oh, okay. Bad Friends. American comedians Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee are the brains behind Bad Friends, a podcast filled with hilarity and expletives. Bobby Lee is funny. They're both funny when they're together. It's a very good... I've seen it on YouTube. Never listened to the podcast. I've seen it on YouTube, and it is funny, actually. They're very funny together. But that image is like a cartoon image. So not everything has got a picture of the person. I quite like my image for the Let Me Bore You to Sleep. Now, you may not agree, but I think it's quite a nice... He has a picture of a moon. Perhaps it needs updating. Well, it doesn't need updating because I literally just made it last week. But I don't know. Anything Goes with Emma Chamberlain, a collection of random thoughts covering everything from philosophy to flashbacks to her past, insightful interviews and everything in between. It's kind of like this, I suppose, except she's worth 20 to 22 million, which means she's clearly very, very popular. Emma Chamberlain. Don't go there, though. Don't. Stay here with me. With me. Ruthless Podcast. The Headlines. Scamander. Crime one, okay. LOL Podcast. I came over that one on YouTube. It's basically for kids. It's hosted by, well, it seemed to be hosted by kids or teenagers, and hosted by Cash Baker, Kenzie Baker, Harper Zilmer, the LOL Podcast. So Lots of Love Podcast. I think it's just a bunch of friends just enjoying themselves. I think. I mean, I don't know. It's not really what I would listen to. Not really. Not this. Not for me. But I don't think I'm really. I think I'm the audience for that podcast. As like if it was a cookery show, I wouldn't be the audience for that either. Lex Fridman Podcast. Okay, so he talks about science, technology. Morning Brew. So these are way down, yet they're still getting a lot of money. Modern Wisdom. This is Modern Wisdom, Chris Williams. So this is an image of him holding a microphone and the words Modern Wisdom, but no name for him. So clearly he's got an audience already. People know who he is. I have seen him actually. He's if I'm right, he smiles a lot. He seems like a nice bloke. Okay, there's another one that at number 47, but that won't be on anymore. The Rachel Maddow Show. An American Liberal. Oh, it's another news one. The Bill Simmons, is that another new? Oh, it's sports. No, thanks. The Zerky Show. The Zerker Show is a self-improvement podcast delivered like a fireside chat with a friend. No matter what you're struggling through in life, you'll find an episode that helps you work through it here. Okay. I need to find a way to get my podcast onto these lists. How do I do it? Because I look at these images, and let's have a look at my own image. You know what? It's not a bad little image. Seriously, Let Me Bore You to Sleep with Jason Newland. It's got a big moon, a big smiling moon or laughing moon with headphones on. I don't know what that is. I can hear beeping. I mean, that is, to me, quite a cool thing. I like that image. I'll tell you what, you might not know this. I just realised I've not checked to see if it's recording. It is recording. I woke Vinny up doing that. Sorry, Vin. I forgot what I was saying now. Sorry. What was I saying? I started thinking about I started thinking about food because I'm hungry. Nope, it's gone. It's gone out of my head. No, that's it. This image, I used ChatGPT to help me to build this image. I wanted it to be, this is the new Let Me Bore You to Sleep image. Because the last one, I've had two, I had a few, but the main two ones was one of a baby in yellow, he had a hat on. The second, more recent one was Vinny. The very first one was Andre. The Let Me Bore You to Sleep, it was Andre. So, I don't even remember that image, but I think it was me holding him. I think that was the picture. So this image, I used ChatGPT and said, I need an image which is going to be good for a podcast. There's going to be not too busy. It explains exactly what it is. Memorable image that's nice, clean, tidy, and suitable and professional. And I think it is. It's just basically, it's got Let Me Bore You to Sleep, and then with Jason Newland, and I'm just repeating myself now, aren't I? But it looks tidy. I think it kind of works. So hopefully that will be useful. Duncan, you not. Duncan, you not. Hosted by practical joker Duncan Joseph. Duncan, you not is a good place to go whether you need a quick giggle or a full-on laugh fest. In each episode, Duncan plays various characters who troll, scam and prank unsuspected victims. Right, so there's quite a few here. I mean, I'm definitely not going to have a picture of me on the podcast. I don't think that would help. Unless... what if I had a tiny image, like really tiny, right in the corner, so people can't really see who it is. What's the point of having an image if you can't see it? That's the one thing that ChatGPT was going on about, saying, remember that the image is not going to be big. People are going to be looking on a phone, it's going to be a small image, so they need to be able to see what the text says. And even small, this, you can see what it says, you can see what the podcast is. So I think it works. I didn't get interrupted by Big Brother yesterday. Well, not by, but during Big Brother, which is good. So I managed to watch it. Although I struggled to stay up till 11. By 10 o'clock I'm tired. So the main show finishes at 10. Then there's the late and live, which is another hour. And then they talk about the day's events. They give a preview of stuff that's happened during the last day, which gets shown the next night. But I didn't get a chance to watch it. Well, I did get a chance to watch it. I just didn't want to stay up. I wanted to go to bed. I really did. I wanted to go to bed. I did. Really, I did. Did. By the way, it's Q&A Friday tomorrow, and still I've only got one question. So please, if you would like to ask me a question, please do, because it's required. I require it in order to make a Q&A Friday. Otherwise it doesn't really work very well if there's no questions, or just one question is... I'm not saying that I can't make one question last for a whole session, but it's nice to have a few more than one. It's nice to have a nice amount, you know what I mean? So, yeah, hopefully... I do realise it's a little bit late to be asking for this, to mention in Q&A Friday or my Jason Newland's boring group on Facebook, because some people will be asleep. Do you know what I've been doing? This is something that's nothing weird, but what I've been doing is listening to my own podcasts. They are relaxing, you know. I find them relaxing, calming, and I do fall asleep listening to them. And, you know, if they work on me, they'll work on anyone. Seriously, it's because it shouldn't really... I don't Really, Vinny? What are you doing? You know, I don't really... Yawn and a scratch. I don't really want to listen to my own voice. I never really liked listening to my stuff. But I realised lately that I need to be... I don't know, experiencing it. I need to be more actively getting a kind of an idea of what it's like for you listening to me. Now, I know it's going to be different for everyone, and it's going to be probably a lot more different for me because it's me and it's my voice. It's me. And I'll tell you what, one thing you might not know. You might know this, and I'm sure it's not just me. What I've noticed this 20 years ago, it's not a new thing, but do you know when you record yourself for the first time and you hear your recorded voice and it doesn't sound like you? There's that absolute, like, what the... I don't sound like that. Well, first of all, you do. No. And it sounds different to what you think you sound like, or what you hear with your own ears. After a while, if you do podcasts, and I wonder if anyone else out there does podcasts can actually acknowledge and say that, you know, they agree, because I'd be interested as to know if it's just me or as other people also have noticed this, is that I now hear myself exactly how I sound when I talk. Exactly the same. There's no difference. So when I listen back to this recording when I'm editing, it sounds exactly the same as how I'm hearing myself right now. And I haven't got headphones on or anything like that. So I'm not hearing myself through the microphone. I'm just hearing myself through my normal mouth. I'm not saying I've got a normal mouth, but you know what I mean. I'm just talking the way we all do, and just hearing myself the way we all do. But I hear exactly the same as what you're hearing right now. There's no difference. There's zero difference. It's identical. Okay, I should change that because I don't know how you're hearing me, but it's identical to how I hear myself when I listen to the recording, as opposed to sounding completely different, which it probably did years ago. But then I've been making recordings for decades. Don't tell anyone. It's true. I used to make recordings when I was a teenager. And I used to write songs, but I also used to talk, like make my own little radio shows and stuff. I know. I forgot about that until I just said it. It's true. I used to make my own radio shows. No one got to hear it, thankfully. In 1990, I started doing making audio recordings on tape of me telling jokes and trying to be funny and coming up with stuff, and I enjoyed doing silly voices. But I never did that on stage. It's weird. I guess the kind of comedy I liked was, all that made me laugh was kind of surreal, absurd kind of stuff. Well, all different things, but that was just one of the things I quite liked. So I had loads of tapes of me just talking and trying to do comedy, and I've still got loads of tapes when I actually did do comedy. I got tapes of me on stage during the 90s. Very bad copies. You know, they're just worn out. But it's kind of strange that I've still got them there. I sounded so young. I was young, wasn't I? I was 20 years old when I did comedy, when I first started. I was the youngest comedian on the circuit when I started. And then this 16-year-old started doing it. So I wasn't the youngest anymore, but I was still one of the youngest. And now if I went back, which I won't, but if I was to go back, I'd be the oldest probably, or one of the oldest. I'd be an elder. One of the wise owls. Ooh. That was my impression of an owl. Ooh. I don't think it was a very good impression, actually. Ooh. Now, the more I do it, the more it sounds less like an owl. No, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to stop. Sorry. I feel ashamed. Talking about feeling ashamed, I'm trying to think of any other times when I have really embarrassed myself. Yeah, there was that time I'm not going to go through the whole story, but there was a client came up. I didn't know she was my next client, and I'd not met her before. And she came into the toilet after I'd been in there. I literally came out and she walked in, and I'd done, yeah. It was one of those moments where if it was your friend, you'd say, don't go in there, leave her a while. But because you can't really do that to a stranger, you know. So, and then the next thing I know, she's sitting in a room with me, giving me a very strange look. What other things? I'm trying to think. I asked someone out once in a, what was it when you buy tickets? Travel agency. I asked a lady out at a travel agency in 1989, 1988. No, beginning of 1989 probably. Maybe, yeah, about that time. Asked her out on a date. She said yes. So I went inside and I asked her in front of her colleagues. She said yes. I was like, wow. Now, instead of leaving, just taking a number, leaving, you know, or, you know, see you later, see you, whatever. No, I didn't do that. What I did is I proceeded to overstay my welcome, and I spent another 2 hours trying to entertain her and her friends, or her colleagues. And at the end of that period of time with me, she had changed her mind. I basically did the equivalent of, there's a name for it in sales, I forget what it's called, but you spend a lot of time with someone and you get the sale. Once you get the sale, you take payment and then you move on. You don't spend the next 2 hours trying to talk them out of the payment, talk them out of the sale. That was equivalent of me selling someone a Mercedes and then saying, "Are you sure you want a Mercedes? There's better cars. There's a Ferrari around the corner that'd suit you better. You don't want a Mercedes. I'm looking at that Mercedes. It smells a bit, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, that's not going to help. And because most sales allow people to change their mind within a certain amount of time, mind you, if I'd have been a driver, I might have been quite good at sales in cars, because I was quite good at sales. I just didn't sell anything that made me any money. I was making £500,000. I was bringing in over £500,000 for Churchill a year. That I worked out how much money, all the different, the money coming in that I was bringing in. So £500,000, I was getting paid 24 grand. I know they didn't get to keep the full 500,000 and whatever, and it costs money to get the advertising and all that stuff to get the customers in. But still, if I was doing sales, I'd expect 10% at the very least. So I should have been on 50 grand. I think some sales jobs give you 20% commission. So, selling a car, one of the best places, really to make money is to be, I suppose you've got real estate, buildings and stuff, cars, yachts, the big ticket items. That's what I really should have kind of got involved in. I don't know how, but if I looked into it and had a bit of self-confidence in myself, you can only really have self-confidence in yourself, can't you? If I had some self-confidence, self-belief, maybe I could have gone down that way, learn everything there is to know about selling a yacht or a private jet, things that cost millions, so that my commission on each one would be over 100 grand. So I'd be a millionaire. I'd be earning millions a year if I sold lots of these items. So yeah, kind of in a different life. Because I did seem to have the ability to, with the correct surroundings and the correct environment and the correct mindset, from my perspective, I did seem to have the ability to communicate in, the correct way. Oh, never mind. So yeah, if you've got any questions for Q&A Friday, that would be super groovy. Have I got a question here? Nope. I just got people liking some of the posts, so that's nice. Thank you. I was looking at the stats. I was kind of surprised. So Jason Newland's Jason Newland hypnotist, that Facebook page has got 25,000 followers, 26 likes. I didn't know that it collected information. I should have known this. But in the last 28 days, I've had 5,082 views. Now, I was moaning, not moaning, but I was just saying the other day that out of all those people, I don't get hardly anyone view the page. Well, clearly I do get people view the page. I just don't get a lot of interaction. I mean, yesterday I got 392 views. I don't know who's viewing the page, but the interaction's minimal. It says there over the time I've got 388 engagement, 388. I don't really, that's the number of reactions, comments, shares and clicks on your post. And 20 comments. This is over the 30 days. Okay, so this will also be, this is including people that posted stuff on the okay, so it's different places. So that includes post on Jason Newland's boring group. Got ya. Right. Well, it's 7:35. I'm gonna go and get myself a nice bit of food. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, 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 ooh, ooh. Dear Jason, can you please stop singing at the end of the recording? It's very, very disruptive. And annoying. Sorry. I'm not sure if it could really be classed as singing. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. So thank you for listening. Q&A Friday tomorrow. So please leave a message, leave a question. Please, please, please. So thank you for listening, and remember to be kind to yourself, because you do deserve to be happy. Really? And be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. Lots of love. Bye.